75 years of automotive perfection is getting a makeover. Fresh from decades of perilous finances and faltering sales, and armed with a new owner, one of the world's most iconic brands is taking its best shot. A new design aimed at putting Jaguar back on top of the luxury car world. The Jaguar XJ, a car that's designed to fly.
It's the most aerodynamic Jaguar we've ever produced in the history of Jaguar.
An aerospace-inspired aluminium body, bonded with over 3,000 rivets, 150 meters of adhesive, and award-winning credentials.
It's a beautiful car. That's all I can say, it's just a beautiful car.
The next 75 years starts now, inside the Jaguar Mega Factory. There is one thing every Jaguar fan agrees on.
There's a lot of great cars in the world. The Jaguar has always made the best looking cars. In fact, a lot of the British cars were really sharp looking, but the Jaguar always had great designs.
And they're counting on a new design to put this endangered cat back on the map. After a string of owners and decades of decline, this iconic brand had lost its way. With the 21st century came 3 new models. The XF and a redesigned XK are launched. But it's the final part of this trilogy combined with new ownership that is giving Jaguar a chance to claw its way back to the top. This new model comes from the most unexpected of the Jaguar range. In 1968, the company launches a new top-of-the-range sedan. Aimed at the chauffeur-driven customer, the Jaguar XJ series is born. Standing for experimental Jaguar, it's much more than an experiment. Under the command of Jaguar design director Ian Callum, 20 in-house designers are tasked with creating a design for the new XJ.
What we want to do is just take it to a whole new level, a real sense of customization.
Preferred by a panel of luxury car customers for its sleek contemporary look, designer Adam Hatton wins the race.
I was fortunate enough to have my theme selected for the exterior design of the XJ. Over the last 4 years, I've been helping the team put the car from the first sketch into production and onto the road.
And it's more than just this year's model. The XJ embraces the classic Jaguar magic. Like every great Jaguar of the past, it starts with pen and paper.
What I do for the first kind of sketch of the car would be to set up the main kind of proportions. Every designer kind of draws cars differently. I always kind of start with the wheels and get the kind of base of the car in there properly, you know, just to set it up.
Adam's homage to the classic Jaguars is what sets his design apart. But to secure the brand's survival, this car has more than good looks. It has 21st century appeal, thanks to its aerospace-inspired technology. The XJ's aerodynamic body is made almost entirely from aluminium. Jaguar began using aluminium in its cars in the early 1900s, but not to this scale. The amount of recycled aluminium on the XJ is equivalent to 12,000 drink cans. The space-age frame combines the very best of automotive and aerospace production technologies. The streamlined body shell weighs in at around 329 kilograms. 66% lighter than it would be in steel. And it tops the scale on fuel efficiency, getting up to 100 kilometers on as little as 7 liters. Even with these impressive modern credentials, the new XJ looks to the past to secure its future. Craftsmanship is the key to Jaguar's past glory. But building a vehicle entirely by hand takes weeks, even months. Not an option when survival rests on sales. Handling the pace of mass production without compromising on quality takes modern-day teamwork between man and machine. This goal poses a new challenge for an old company. It begins with reinventing Jaguar's Castle Bromwich factory. Set in over 4,000 square meters, this site was once home to the legendary World War II Spitfire aircraft production lines. Now, it's a world leader in automotive manufacture.
I mean, it's always a challenge to develop the site strategy to make sure that everything fits as new models come along. But we can always find ways to optimise the layout, get the right facilities in the right areas, and to build the car as efficiently as we possibly can.
Richard Else is operations director. He oversees the entire plant. In his 20 years, he's seen a lot of changes.
20 years ago, Castle Bromwich was only actually a body and paint plant. It became an assembly plant about 12 years ago. And over the last 10 years, we've been rejuvenating the Jaguar brand and creating a new showroom for the 3 products that we have today. And Castle Bromwich has been at the heart of that revolution.
During this time, owners Ford invested heavily in state-of-the-art robotic technologies. Now these machines have a car to really sink their teeth into. But they can't do it alone. Guiding this company back to its former prominence needs the hand of human experience. Once a steel-only pressing plant, now a 9,600 square metre aluminium stamping works. Here, the XJ begins its life. 13 massive presses produce over 125 different parts. But aluminium brings its own challenges in production and design.
From my side of things, from designing the exterior shape of the car, aluminum is slightly more difficult to create forms and shapes, like as in razor-sharp edges and lots of different crease lines.
Aluminium has around 1/3 of the density of steel. This softer material restricts the range of options for a designer. But Adam lets the properties of this raw material and Jaguar's design legacy lead the way.
The thing is with Jaguar, you know, we're really into design purity, so we like really vast, sort of clean, pure surfaces. Harks back to those great Jaguars of the 50s and 60s.
A fluke of history gave Jaguar its name. The company began life making sidecars for motorcycles, a concept that fed into some of the early designs. Called the Swallow Sidecar Company, its early car models adopted the abbreviation SS. But in 1935, as SS was becoming synonymous with Nazi Germany, the company chose a new name. Believed to have come from the streamlined designs of the cars themselves, Jaguar is born. And the streamlining goes beyond the vehicle bodies. Named after the speedy cat, the XJ is designed to fly.
It's the most aerodynamic Jaguar we've ever produced in the history of Jaguar, so we're very pleased about that. And what that does is obviously gives good fuel economy, low CO2 emissions and excellent high-speed stability.
A car uses power to overcome drag, the effect of air passing over the vehicle as it moves. The heavier the car, the more power needed to push through this force. This effort burns up fuel. It's like driving through invisible soup. Reduce the drag, and you increase the speed and improve fuel consumption. To further hone this performance, the car needs to lose weight. That's why steel body parts are being replaced with aluminium. Tooling and engineering manager Jim Harper, a 20-year veteran, is at the front line of the Jaguar revolution.
XJS and X300 were the first two vehicles when I first started Jaguar. It's changed massively considering that X300, which was the old XJ, was an all-steel vehicle, and now we're looking at the last two models of XJ are both in total aluminium vehicles.
The press shop produces parts according to the day's production schedule. But if just one batch is rejected during the rigorous quality control process, they may have to be stamped all over again. Beating at the heart of Jaguar's giant press shop are massive stamping machines. These presses hold giant dies or molds that shape the aluminium sheets into body panels. Each panel has its own unique mold, and each time a new panel is needed further down the production line, the mold is changed. It takes just 20 to 30 seconds for the raw aluminium to travel the entire line. These enormous machines may look inflexible, but like press shop line controller Peter Mann, they're ready for anything.
It's different parts every day, according to what the rest of the factory require. We can be running one part through the line, and then a request we made to run another part. So it's a quick changeover then.
Inside the stamping machines, each panel passes through a choreographed system of steps. First, the stamp. 2,000 tons of pressure turns flat sheets of aluminium into shapely panels. A separate die for every part of the vehicle. Next, the stamp is trimmed to remove any excess material. Green is taken seriously. At the end of its life, an XJ is 85% recyclable. One last run through a finishing press. And the panel emerges, flawless. At least it appears that way. But on the XJ, nothing is left to chance. Before these panels leave the shop, they are thoroughly tested. Probes measure the surface across hundreds of points, making sure it's exactly the right shape. Tolerances are within 0.5 millimeter. Raw aluminium hides a multitude of sins. But once painted, every lump and bump will be visible. To make sure no surface imperfections reach the production line, there's another check. And this is a job for humans. Liquid is spread across the part, representing paint. This will highlight any defects. Aluminium may be feather light. One door panel weighs just 10.5 kilograms, 3 times less than its steel counterpart. But this material is still as tough as an ox. And that comes back to the design.
I've worked with the engineers to make the panels actually incredibly strong. So you can see here, for example, we have, you know, nice shaped bonnet bulge here and all these forms over the headlamps. But what they also do, apart from being attractive, is they give very high strength to the actual panel itself.
Once formed, aluminium combines strength with flexibility, allowing it to spring back from shock or impact.
So by putting these forms and shapes into the panels, it makes the panels incredibly strong as well.
Historically, car manufacturers painted raw panels with a white primer. Called body in white, the practice has ceased, but the name for this part of the factory remains. Stock panels arrive here from the presses. It's time to connect the pieces. No part of this 21,000 square metre plant is wasted. From ceiling to floor, conveyors, pulleys and machines move cars and parts of cars along the assembly line in a precise choreography. It's here that the robots excel. Aluminium isn't easily welded. Instead, the shell is held together by over 3,000 tiny fasteners or rivets. Called rivet bonding, it uses the same principles as aircraft manufacture, and it reinforces the strength of the car. It's definitely a job best done by those who don't mind dull, repetitive work. 110 robots burst into action. The underframe. 3 parts seamlessly become one. What takes these automatons just a few seconds would take hours for a human crew. Time equals money. In 2008, motor giant Ford sold Jaguar to Indian-based Tata Motors for a bargain 1.5 billion euros. The catch? The company was in financial crisis. But this cat isn't ready to roll over. With all bets doubled down on the XJ, it's fighting back. The completed underbelly does more than just hold the top in place. It comes back to the aerodynamics.
Basically, we can create a very sleek shape on the top of the car, but a lot of the air is directed underneath the car. And you have obviously bits of engine, gearboxes and exhaust pipes coming out the back and various other things underneath the car. And anything that kind of interrupts the airflow will affect the drag coefficient.
So the underbelly is designed and shaped as sleek as the top. More than 150 meters of adhesive is added to the joints. Another practice borrowed from aviation. This adhesive remains tacky until finally cured in the 280-degree paint shop ovens. This new high-tech vehicle is a world apart from the early Jags. But it's still fulfilling a vision that Jaguar's founder, Sir William Lyons, had over 50 years ago. He believed that aerodynamic efficiency was the key to performance. The XJ has brought this vision to life. On the other side of the plant, robots construct more components. Doors, boot lids, and bonnets. And these robots are multitasking. A single robot grabs a panel and attaches it to a jig. Then it changes tools to add adhesive or rivets. It's a mechanical ballet. Altogether, this plant assembles 289 metal parts, each designed in perfect harmony. Before the next lap, it's time for a pit stop. The machines have proven their worth, but the gods of performance lie in the details. That demands the human touch. The car may be streamlined, but the name of this stage isn't. The Body Shell Less Doors Takeout Station. Framing line quality inspector John Carter's job is to make sure the robots are doing theirs.
So what I'll do is I'll check that everybody has done their job by tightening these up. What I'll do is I'll actually just move it, and I know if there's a bolt loose, anything, earth, anything, and I'll just check them all, go round.
He's a man with a lot of power. Any defects and the production line stops.
So if I find these rivets are not 100%, I know exactly what robot they come from, and I can bring maintenance in and we can actually go in and we can have a look at that robot.
Machines alone can never make a Jaguar.
Most of this is done by hand, robots are involved, but a lot of it is taken care of. It's time and care. We take care on doing it. It's lovely.
John is so proud of his work, he even invites customers to tour his station.
We like to satisfy the customer that they're getting a good car. They're getting a good car and we're putting the effort in. You know, this is our jobs, and we want to show them this is how good we can build a car, and this is what we want to do. We love it. We all love doing it. That's why, and we love the customer to see what we can do.
On its journey through the plant, each car has its own travel card. It's like a detailed biography of the vehicle. Everything is recorded, from left or right-hand drive, to information on which robot punched the rivets.
If we do have a problem, we have a travel card, which what we do is, we fill in a travel card. This car then won't move until someone signed off the travel card. And as you can see, it's blank. This car's come down the line with that, no problem at all. So it's blank. So these travel cards will follow the car all the way out to the... and we will keep these for the life of the car.
No defects on this vehicle.
Now I'm happy for this car to go back into the system. Everything on it is perfect in my book. It's a good car. This is one I'd buy.
A slow-moving conveyor belt carries partly finished frames through the next build stages. Robots have perfected the dull and repetitive work. Now it's time for the classic Jaguar touch. And for that, human craftsmen take over. As soon as the doors are on, a weight placed where the window sits represents the exact weight of the glass and electrics in the final assembly. They measure and remeasure every joint and gap using a small tool and sleight of hand. It's millimetre accurate.
Basically, getting the same gap all the way along, and it's just 3.5 mil from top to bottom, and a push at the top there. So make sure that that's right there, and it's right there. That's nice and flush.
Any discrepancies are gently tapped into position. Just 4 minutes later, doors are on, bolts are fixed, and the journey continues. Dozens of cars feed through this line each day. John makes it look easy, but his 27 years experience ensures that each vehicle leaves this station exactly as the designer ordered. A lightweight aluminium frame, perfectly aerodynamic in form. Could be a sales pitch for a new aircraft. But this bird has to stay grounded. To achieve this, car designers used the reverse theory of aeroplane wings.
It's the same principles really, but instead of on an aeroplane you're using the air to try and make the plane lift upon takeoff or whatever. We're trying to obviously make the car stick to the road.
A small flick at the back of the car separates the air from the vehicle.
What you're trying to do on the car aerodynamically is have the air stick to the car, basically flow all the way along the car, and then come off really cleanly, so they call it the separation points. That's part of the reason we have this little flick here on the rear deck, because the air comes over the coupe roof line and then comes to the end and really cleanly separates off from here.
And this is balanced at the front.
This is in exactly the right place to balance exactly where the lip is on the rear. So the car is always incredibly stable, and for a car like a Jaguar, it has to have the best on-road stability in the world. And that's what this car has.
Even the slightest nick, dent, gap or misalignment will impact this aerodynamic performance. Seconds after Warwick has marked any snags on the body, it's into the repair shop, where metal workers fix the snags. Sanders, buffers and polishing rags are the tool of this trade. At the end of this line, the XJ has the perfect body. Adam Hatton creates the exterior theme, but he doesn't know how the new XJ will drive from a drawing alone. Putting this theory into practice turns engineers into computer gamers. Jaguar's virtual cave is the most advanced automotive 3D facility in the world. To us it looks like a 2D image, but the multi-screen layout and the weird space-age 3D glasses allows virtual reality manager Brian Waterfield to explore the XJ from every angle.
From day one, as soon as the designers had an understanding of how the car is supposed to look, they came down here, they looked at it in the 3D world, they sat inside the car, understood the proportions, and then from that point we started to design in the feasibility, also had the engineering. So from day one all the way to production, this has been a part of the overall process.
Here, designers and engineers experience their creation for the very first time.
Well, now I'm sitting inside the driver's seat and we have a little world running around the background. This is the first chance you get of actually feeling like you're driving this vehicle. And this particular setter allows us to do reach studies, so I can reach out to certain areas of the vehicle to see if everything is in line with the driver. It also allows me to see vision angles through the different posts, so through the A posts, looking out through the window.
They even get into the guts of the machine.
So if I lift the car upside down, so we look a little bit at some of the powertrain that's in there. If we were trying to do different engines, we could pick up different parts of that engine. So we could pick parts off, strip the engine, understand how that goes together, or we can actually go up a level and take all of the powertrain out in one.
It's a place for reflection.
A lot of our designers will come down here and just want to be alone with the vehicle. They'll have the exterior on, they'll put the Glasses on, they can be in here with the curtain shut just to get a feel how it feels to them, because they're the designers, they're coming up with the inspiration, the ideas. They just want to make sure that they are getting things right.
There's no doubt that the XJ is designed for speed. But to move as fast as it looks takes raw power. And that is under the hood. Engine blocks are sourced from the best manufacturers in the world and arrive at the Jaguar engine dress plant for completion. Assembly operator Mick Fennell coordinates this power line.
The engines come in as a basic unassembled block with the cylinder head on top, and here it's called engine dress. So we dress the engine. We put all the ancillaries on, the pumps, the belts.
These powerful V8 engines drive performance. It may be a sedan on the outside, but the 5-litre supercharged option can rival any sports car, pushing the XJ from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.7 seconds. These crews have engine dress down to a fine art.
On average, we can take a bare-bone engine and assemble it fully in approximately an hour.
And the clock starts ticking here.
At this station, we have brackets put on, ball-off pins. Further on in the production sequence, you can have engine covers that press onto those.
At this stage, the robots have no place. This is human territory. It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle being completed by multiple players.
Everybody depends on everybody else to do their job as the line goes on.
A car's engine runs more than just the wheels.
Power steering pump. We've got alternator, pulleys, aircon pump. These are all operated off the one main drive, one main pulley that comes out of the engine. So on the next station we have one belt that is linked around all those pulleys and operates all those items that are fitted onto the engine as it goes along.
Just 3 minutes to the end of this line, and the engine moves on.
This is the start of the main assembly line. The engines come over on the hoist, and this first station is where the gearbox is fitted.
The XJ's 6-position gearbox connects the engine to the drive shaft, controlling torque and speed. Torque is the force that causes the drive shaft to spin. The higher the gear, the faster the drive shaft spins, resulting in increased speed. Engines are not made in isolation. Running parallel, teams prepare the axles, the central shaft or rod that holds the wheels. The combination of these parts is called the powertrain. Each powertrain is matched to a body, a process called a marriage. This happens in trim and final. Bare bones bodies spin into the final circuit. Ironically, one of the first jobs is removing those perfectly aligned doors.
The reason we build doors off is mainly for damage and damage prevention.
After all, the car's already been painted. Defects can't be sanded and buffed here.
It also allows us to easily enter and exit the vehicle.
Engineers add the last few components. drive shafts that transmit commands from the gearbox and accelerator to the wheels. And cooling systems that keep the engines at optimum temperatures. This radiator is the heart of the air conditioning. It sits behind the legendary Cat. This supercharged beast is prepared to meet its beauty. But she's not ready yet. Body protectors safeguard the paint. Next, the guts. Delivering the power to the car's systems. Electrical looms are kept under heat lamps for pliability. One per car. It looks like a rat's nest. But once fitted, this 2.7 kilometers of wiring controls everything. The car's engine, windows, gear stick, lights, roof and doors are all electrically driven. The next addition, the dashboard. Like the production process itself, this fascia represents classic British luxury with a modern twist. With a backdrop of fine leather and wood, the virtual instrument display bursts into life on startup. And if you feel the need for speed, click to sports mode and the dials will change to bright red. As with Adam Hatton's exterior vision, the interior designers leave nothing to chance.
From our designer point of view, we would have designers sitting inside the car, understand the different colour matches. We'd also have our colour and trim team who study the different levels of what in leathers and different bits of wood and how they'd all go together.
Back in trim and final, the perfect couple finally meet. Body and powertrain are ready for their marriage. And this one is made in heaven. Timed to perfection.
The drive gear comes round and meets underneath the correct sequence body, where the four guys then fit the running gear into the car, and it takes 4 minutes to put all the running gear into the vehicle. There is 36 bolts that hold it all together.
Remember where Adam's design started?
I always kind of start with the wheels and get the kind of base of the car in there properly, you know, just to set it up.
Designed to complement the XJ perfectly, these 20-inch road-hugging alloy wheels are also aluminium and exactly proportioned to enhance performance. Dust bags cover the internal mechanics, protecting them from the elements. Like every single component, the wheels are not chosen by chance. They are chosen by the customer. First, the most important part of all. That is, in terms of branding, the iconic logo. With 10,000 cars travelling through this production line, each needing 4 wheels, it takes more than a hand drill to keep up with the pace. On the other side of the plant, the orphan doors get a makeover of their own. Strengthening door liners make room for the components. This team makes using a drill look like spreading butter. Impact bars are put in, and wiring is completed. The door is finished to match the interior scheme, with a state-of-the-art add-on. A sound system so sophisticated, that Jaguar built a €100,000 audio room just to perfect it. The sumptuous leather seats allow the passenger to enjoy both the surround sound entertainment and the overhead view through the fully glazed roof. Replacing the doors is quick and seamless. But there is one thing no one knows until Martin Borland takes control. It's time to turn this beauty on. Before this car can leave the factory, every system has to be checked.
Now I'm turning the ignition on to check for the key learn, which is to program the keys for the car. He's testing all the electrics, everything from the keys to the lights to the mirrors, the lights in the sun visors here, the glass, the door locks, more or less everything we're testing on the car electrically.
It takes around 20 minutes to finish the tests.
That's the test done now. We just wait for the results to come up there, whether it's a pass or a fail.
It passed this test, but there is one more before exiting the building. Lights, horn, wipers, exit. Even the classic cat has wrapped its claws around the future.
If you come round the back, you'll see what we affectionately call the cat's claw graphic, because we try and make the car look visually exciting at night as well, so you wouldn't think it's any other car other than an XJ.
After 4 years of design, prototypes, testing and production, the familiar Jaguar grille leads the way out of the factory. And in case you were wondering, putting yourself in one of these beauties can set you back a cool €100,000. The English weather may dull the shine, but it hasn't dulled the enthusiasm for this car. The combination of Adam's design and the revival of Jaguar's luxury heritage is a success. The XJ hit customer pay dirt. A British classic is back and proven itself once again as a world leader. These vehicles are headed to customers across the globe, with the UK, USA and Germany on top of the list. What began as a few lines on a sketch pad has forced a historic team of expert car builders to forge a unique coalition with a new generation of automotive technologies. Like the XJ itself, it's an eclectic mix of old and new.
You know, I look back at the great Jaguars of the past, and probably above all they have modernity. So with this new XJ, that's what I was trying to achieve, you know. Really very modern, but still keeping to those very core values of what make a Jaguar exterior design what it is.
One mega factory, decades of experience, an army of skilled individuals, and one car. Jaguar is definitely looking back to the future.